Well, happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, December 7th already, the year 2021. And welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Thom, brought to you by the Best Girl consulting firm. Well, it's the holiday season. I'm glad. I hope that you are. It's that wonderful time of the year between Thanksgiving and New Year's, which of course includes all kinds of Christmas stuff, Christmas decorations, Santa Claus, Christmas movies and specials, and lots and lots and lots of Christmas music. Today we get to go to the backstory of some of the music we love at Christmas: Jingle Bells, Silent Night, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And we're going to hear how Oh Holy Night created a Christmas truce. We'll also get the backstory as to who wrote the song and how, who performed it, and then who may have covered it later on. So today we get to hear and talk about our favorite Christmas songs with our G-list guest. And our G-list guest today is Eric Jones and his 25 Days of Christmas. You may remember Eric and his 25 Days of Christmas from last year. Eric is a composer, a lyricist, a screenwriter, and the executive producer of the 25 Days of Christmas. You got questions about a Christmas song? Well, you can get the answers right here, and that includes you too, Antley Lamont Staten. So the G List is sponsored by Mainstream Financial. Mainstream Financial brings financial vision and clarity to your retirement plans. If you talk to the folks at Mainstream Financial, don't let your money run out before you do. This edition of Tuesday with Thom, of course, is sponsored by our partners, the Best Girl consulting firm. Best Girl has been providing customized solutions to executive issues for over 34 years. Best Girl is, let's take it away.
Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access and inclusion, public relations, communications, and organizational consulting services. Clients include Fortune 500 companies, utilities, higher education institutions, small businesses, and associations. Best Girl's team of consultants, led by Joyce Gilly-Gossam, Emily Hedrick, and Sean Jones, partners with business and education clients to promote organizational effectiveness, communication, motivation, and leadership, with always an impact on the bottom line. Best Girl's customized consulting services include strategic planning, corporate communication, executive coaching, fundraising, and economic development.
It's the solution that fits your needs. So we're going to move right on into the roundtable regulars and introduce Barbara Wallace Edwards and Michael Walker. Barbara Wallace Edwards is a Mobile, Alabama native, but she tells me today that she's up in the mountains looking for those dudes who were in that movie Deliverance. So I hope she doesn't find them, to be honest with you, but let's just check on her and make sure she's all right. Barbara, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Thom. I'm doing well, thank you. And I'm not looking for those guys. I'm trying to avoid those guys. So I don't want to see them.
You know, that little banjo boy might just be up there playing a tune for you up there.
No, I'm going to pass on that one this time, I think.
So where are you?
I'm actually in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, Thom.
Oh, okay. Well, good deal. That's great. What you got for us this morning?
Well, Thom, I want to first congratulate all of the winners of the Alabama State High School Football Association Championship last year in each of the categories. Thompson High School won the 7A championship. That's our G-list guest we had a couple of weeks ago. Byron Franklin, his son, plays on that team.
That's right. That's right.
And also my Viger Wolves from Pritchard, Alabama, won the 4A state championship.
What are they, Wolves?
The Wolves, yes.
Okay. Well, I told you we played Viger in high school, and Viger and McGill, we went down one weekend, played one of them on one day, one of them on the next day. We were like the NBA, man. We played back to back, lost both games, started back on the bus broke down, had to pull the bus over on the side of the road. We had all the players on the team, all the players on the bus, all the cheerleaders were on the bus. So we got out on the side of the road and we had a concert. We started singing Temptation songs and just had a concert until somebody came and rescued us. So
it sounds like even though it didn't turn out the way you wanted to, it sounds like it was a fun trip.
Well, I turn out the way you wanted is kind of relative because we lost a lot in high school. So we won a lot of times. I don't know if we even expected to win, but I can tell you this: we had a great time, and we're still close. And the football
Yes.
and the basketball team, we just couldn't figure out how to win.
Wow.
We didn't have the best talent. We were playing above our level. We were probably should have been playing about 4A, and we were playing
Right.
6 and 7A,
Right.
and we were just a little bit out, man. What else you got, Barbara?
Well, Tom, I also had an opportunity to go to a Take Six concert on Saturday before I left town, and it was absolutely wonderful. I want to thank my friends Barbara and Tom Larkin for the tickets to that event. Had a wonderful time, and it's just been a busy weekend for me. And then on Sunday, on my way here, I got a chance to stop in Knoxville to visit some family there, and had Sunday dinner with my family in Knoxville, Tennessee. So it's been an amazing week so
Well,
far.
you got family everywhere,
I
don't you?
do.
You
I
do.
do.
I tell you.
Both my parents were had 9 siblings each. So between
Wow.
them and their siblings and their siblings' children and children's children, we have a very large family. So
That
and I'm
was
close to all of them.
that was cool. I remember growing up. My dad, they had 12,
Wow.
and my mom had 6 or 7. So
Yes.
you're right. There were always cousins. There were always
Always.
aunts, uncles. There were always somebody's house to go to, or somebody to come
Yes.
to your house, and
Yes.
that was pretty cool. And then you grow, and they get older and they start to pass on, and it becomes
Yes.
a different. And for some reason, the second generation, that next generation, our generation, didn't
Hmm.
have as many children.
Right.
Didn't for a lot of reasons, I guess.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
let me say good morning to all our guests out there. We see you guys checking in. Glad you're here with us. We're in the Christmas season, and we are just having a lot of Christmas fun. So, Barbara, let me get Michael on here, and
Okay.
we'll come back to you. Michael Walker is president of the Walker Agency. Lives in Atlanta, Georgia. Michael, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Tom. I'm doing well this morning, and I hope you are too. And good morning to you, Barbara.
So, tell me what that shirt is you got on. I can only see the top half of it.
This shirt right here was one of the charities that our association adopted for the Atlanta Children's Shelter. And so we've made donations each year. We will adopt a charity and we'll raise money for them and donate to them.
Oh, that's good. That's great. So, what's happening with you this morning, Michael?
Well, there's a lot of things that's going on. One thing I think that our listeners will be interested in hearing is that CVS has gotten into the health insurance business because they bought Aetna. Well, they're now teaming up with Microsoft, and they use Microsoft as a foundation and built an integrated data platform with a suite of analytical and advanced machine learning tools to address individualized needs. They hope to increase the patient experience. And one of the resulting engagements is that it will send mobile alert for flu vaccines to all of their customers, or annual cancer screening, side effect counseling from a pharmacist for a new medication a patient may be taking. And they will even send reminders to people that are at risk of developing melanoma and tell them it's time to buy sunscreen. So is that to enhance or to make more money? Is it to help with healthcare to make more money? I think it does both.
Okay. We'll let you think that, and, and we'll go. Sean, who is our producer, one of our producers, and who's our organizer, says she wants to take your job. And so I don't know. I'm gonna have to let you and Sean have a discussion about that.
Well,
Yeah.
she's welcome to come on in. Like Kirby Smart said, a lot of people want to get in the SEC. Come on in here.
Now you had to bring up Kirby. You had to
Yeah.
bring up Kirby. Kirby got waxed the other day, and Well, luckily they got another time. So let me ask you guys. So if you think they play again, you think Georgia fare better, meaning Georgia and Alabama?
I'm not so sure, Tom. I think Nick Saban. I don't think Nick Saban's going to let Kirby Smart beat him. He's going to outsmart him every time. So I think they have the talent level, but I'm not sure that they can beat them.
I think if they play again, the game may be closer. I think, but I would have to still give Alabama the edge. I have told a lot of my colleagues here that are diehard dog fans that they have a mental block when it comes to Alabama. They get psyched out whenever they play Alabama, and they know they cannot, in their mind, they don't believe they can really beat Alabama. You know, like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until you get hit in the mouth. And I think Georgia has a good plan until they get on the field with Alabama, and then that plan goes out the window.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I mean, they started out, drove down the field and scored twice.
Yes.
Like they were going to raise some hell.
Yeah, they had a really good play in the first couple of minutes of the game, and after that, it kind of fell apart.
I kind of agree with Michael. I think some of it's psychological, that they don't think they can really win. And, it's interesting because, I think Georgia put a spanking on Auburn, but Auburn played Alabama well. But I think certain teams have certain psychological things that they go into the game with. And I think Auburn and Alabama is one, because I didn't realize until they said it that day of the game being Auburn and Alabama, that Gus Malzahn had a 3-4 record against Nick Saban.
Yes.
3 and lost 4, which is probably better than anybody else.
It is better than anyone else.
Conference. And but it certainly didn't feel like that.
I know.
Well, that was because of all the other games he lost. He should not have lost. That's why it didn't.
Yeah, under Malzahn, we lost a lot of games we never should have lost, and we won some that we didn't think we were going to win. So that's kind of how that thing worked out.
Well, I think this year it's interesting, and I'll say we'll move on, but to something else. And then I saw that Auburn's quarterback Bo Nix said he was going to go into the transfer portal and either transfer to another school or hopefully get selected in the NFL draft. And then a day and a half later, he came back and said he was back. He was going to be back at Auburn.
Gonna stay.
Much to a lot of people's disappointment.
So true.
Okay, Michael, what else you got for us?
Well, one other thing that I will like to share with you guys, the last election cycle, Georgia was front and center. Well, it looks like it's going to be the same thing this year. Your former president, Donald Trump, he has been recruiting people to run against Brian Kemp for the sitting Republican governor, because he's angry with Kemp for not decertifying Biden's election in Georgia. So he went out and recruited a former senator, David Perdue, who, by the way, lost in the senatorial race with John Ossoff. He recruited him to run against Brian Kemp, saying that David Perdue is the only one that can beat Stacey Abrams, although Kemp beat Stacey Abrams 4 years ago. So there's going to be a big divide there. It's going to probably tear the Republican Party apart in Georgia. They've already talking about the line that's being drawn in the sand, and that a lot of relationships will probably fracture and will not be mended because of this. Also on Trump's team is Herschel Walker, who he recruited to run against Raphael Warnock, as well as a guy by the name of Burt Jones. Burt Jones comes from a family of extreme wealth here in Georgia, and he's a state legislator. Trump originally tried to get him to run against Kemp, and he said he wouldn't. So instead, he's going to run for lieutenant governor. So Trump has 3 people that he's pushing here in the state of Georgia.
Well, it's going to be interesting. You think Well, I was going to say, do you think Georgia politics will ever be the same? But I don't know how to describe what the same is. I think there is obviously a quiet revolution going on in Georgia, and where it will end up will be interesting to see.
So true.
Yes.
Kemp stood up for what he thought was right, and so did a lot of other people over there. I don't know the titles, the Secretary of State, the guy who certified the election, and so on and so forth. And it sounds like to me that your former president wanted people to break the law.
Yes.
And,
yes.
And they did decide that they wouldn't break the law, so he's upset with them.
Right. And what's amazing to me is that he has a following that buys into that Kemp should have broken the law. And he told him, as a constitutional officer and swearing to uphold the state constitution, he could not do that. But they seem not to care. And that's the main thing they are after Kemp for, not the way he handled our economy. Georgia's employment rate is one of the lowest it's been. They have the top 8 rainy day fund, over $8 billion sitting in a rainy day fund. He did a lot for small business. As you know about the Ahmaud Arbery case, the legislature put through the outlawing of a citizen's arrest. Kemp signed it immediately. He was in support of that. He's done a lot of different things that has been good for everybody overall. But the one thing that they point to as a weakness was that he wouldn't decertify the election. So that's why they're after it.
And Michael, I cannot understand, and maybe you can help me understand, why would educated people back that type of thinking? I mean, it just doesn't make a logical sense to me. And things have to, make logical sense to me.
Did you say educated?
Yes, I did say educated.
Now remember, educated is beyond just having a degree.
That is so true.
It requires a measure of introspection and thinking and able to fit and not kowtowing to somebody. Maybe they got more money than you.
As I made that statement, I thought about something I was taught a long time ago. Education does not equate to intelligence, and so that's probably the case.
It does not. Well, when you look at this here, you have a lot of people that support Trump because of his rhetoric, which is a reflection of their true feelings and emotion. Now, when you said educated, and far be it for me to comment on a person's level of achievement from education, but the polling has shown that the majority of the people that support Trump were not necessarily educated people. They were a lot of people that lived in the rural areas of the state, a lot of people that really were what they call blue collar workers. And more importantly, I think this is what fits that category, are the people that felt like they had been shut out of, or things had changed and they are no longer in power like they used to be. Because there were a time when they were automatically in the club and they got everything they wanted. Now things have started to shift and they look more about credentials, your experience, qualification, where before that didn't have to be. You were a good old boy, so you were in. And that's a lot of people that support him. Then you had a lot of people that were business people that supported Trump because of the tax breaks they were getting, and he was putting more money in their pocket. So they were educated, but some people may say they were just greedy. I don't know, but they were the ones that were reaping positive cash flow and benefits from Trump. Okay, so you have those dynamics, and then you have the other people that are in the middle, and I'm talking about primarily Republican voters that are like, we want somebody that's decent. We want somebody that can implement policies and what have you, but somebody will not bring embarrassing incidents to the office of the president, somebody that will stand up and do the right thing, somebody with integrity. I've had people in meetings with me come to me and say, I had issues with Trump's rhetoric, and some of the things he said were hard for me to take. And I'm talking about white males. So not everybody really supported Trump, but he had enough of the loud, boisterous people that support him. And those are the ones that will do whatever he says.
Well, we'll see how things turn out. It should be interesting. So that will be Purdue against
Brian Kemp.
Yeah, and then Herschel. Now, has Herschel got a competition in the primary?
He does, but no one has the name recognition that he has, and no one has the ability to raise the money that he does.
So let me ask you this question. So the Senate race of last fall, I guess it was, when you had the two upsets, in addition to Biden win in the state of Georgia. And there was a very large black turnout in Georgia. So are these same black folks going to turn out and vote for Herschel?
I doubt it. I would say, to be honest with you, I will say that they will vote for the Reverend Raphael Warnock. That's who Herschel will be running against, is Warnock. And by and large part, they will vote for Warnock over Herschel. I think the people that's going to support Herschel are primarily UGA grads. And when I say primarily, I say that with a bit of caution. Not all of them feel that Herschel is qualified to be senator, but there are quite a few that will vote for Herschel because he played football at Georgia and was a hero. Herschel's tagline is 34 in 22. In other words, remember 34.
Are you serious?
And I'm serious. That's it.
Wow.
34 in 22. So in other words, 2022 and the letter N, which means we want, number 34 in 2022. And he has a PAC that's going to do his dirty work for him. Herschel is going to run as the candidate that wants to bring unity, want to unify the party and bring everybody together. But there's a PAC that's going to be doing the dirty work so Herschel doesn't have to get his hands dirty. So they will come out and attack Warnock with all the negative ads, for Herschel. So Herschel won't have to go at it himself and leave Herschel to look like his hands are clean. And he's just going to talk about, the positive things that he wants to do. And he's not going to ever speak ill of Warnock. But that's how it's being set up. And they're going to want to try to limit Herschel's exposures with debating and what have you.
Because he can't.
Because he can't.
Yes.
And Michael, and I know this is opinion, but do you think that a lot of the Republican voters there in Georgia will cross over and vote Democrat in that particular race?
That's a hard one to say. I doubt that they will do that. I think that they'll probably go with the nominee in that race. They have a tendency, and we'll just use the situation with President Biden. There were a lot of suburban Republican women, white females that are Republican, that said they just would not vote for Trump, and they switched over and voted for Biden.
Right.
But here in the state of Georgia, the rest of the candidates, the Republicans all won, basically.
Okay.
It was just Trump that lost.
Right.
But if you go down ballot, it was Republican all the way.
Okay.
So following the same logic, even though they may not feel like Herschel is the right candidate, they will probably vote for Herschel if he becomes the nominee, from the standpoint of trying to make sure we have at least one Republican senator, because the term that John Ossoff won, that race, he's automatically there for 6 years.
Right.
And that was the one that Purdue lost. So now Purdue, instead, if he really wanted to do something, he should be running for Senate. Instead, he's going to be looked upon as by a lot of Republicans as Trump lapdog. So now he's going to run against Kemp. Okay. And then they're going to let Herschel run against Warnock. So you see what's going on there. You got a black Republican and a black Democrat. So we're going to put them against each other.
Right.
Okay. But we're going to do things to help Herschel over here, so Herschel will look really good, like he's not doing negative ads, you know, and this PAC is going to take care of that. And we're going to raise money for him, you know.
Herschel might not do negative ads, but Herschel's got some issues now.
Well, he does. He does.
He's got some serious issues.
Yes.
Well, and not only that, and the issues you're speaking of, those are issues he's come out and admitted to having those problems. When we talk about the split personality and all of that stuff.
Scary. Let me just say scary.
He's got split personality issues. He's got women issues, violence issues. He's got some issues he's going to have to address. So whether he goes negative or not, I'm sure those issues will be used against him. And we'll see how he turns out. Barbara, you got anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you, Thom.
Okay. And so anyway, Herschel, and I think Herschel's sort of following Senator Tuberville's playbook. You know, if Tuberville can do it, hey, I can do it, you know, and we'll see how that.
That's the playbook.
And the thing about the Senate is, as you just said about, I think you said about Warnock, if you win, I mean, not Warner, Ossoff. If you win, you're there for 6 years. You know?
Right.
And so if you only got to win one more time, and you've
been there 12 years.
Yeah.
Yes. The reason why this particular one is so different with the race that Warnock is in is because that seat was held by Johnny Isaacson for years and years. And then he came down with Parkinson's disease and had to resign.
Right.
And when he resigned, Governor Brian Kemp appointed Kelly Loeffler to fulfill that unexpired term. So she was in there for about a year or so. There were 2 years left, and then she had to run in order to win the rest of the remaining term. Okay, so she lost that opportunity. So because of the timing of that, even though Warnock won, he has to run again for 2022 because that was the unexpired term. So Kelly served 1 year, Warnock is serving that other year, and now he's got to run for the 6 years.
Okay. All righty. Anything else? Well, let's talk about Christmas, man. Something that's a little more pleasant.
Yes.
So let's get to our G list, and the G list is where everybody is a star. The G list is brought to you by Mainstream Financial Group. Let's hear from Mainstream Financial.
Mainstream Financial Group provides financial services for both individuals and businesses. Mainstream's mission is to understand the unique needs of every client and work closely with you, assembling a team to develop and manage your resources to help you accomplish your defined financial goals. Mainstream's financial professionals will provide you with a complimentary, no obligation financial review. Now, these professionals can then offer you custom advice to mend together the pieces of your financial life and come up with a plan that is truly comprehensive. Mainstream Financial assists retirees and those close to retirement in planning for a secure retirement so not to run out of money during your lifetime. You can take advantage of opportunities with tailored advice and the resources to act on it. Mainstream Financial Group, www.mainstreamfg.com, 205-324-0589.
Mainstream Financial Group, dollars and sensible solutions. So let's go to our G-list guest. Remember, Hollywood has the A-list, and here on Tuesdays with Thom, we have the G-list, where everybody is a star. Today's G-list guest is Eric Jones and his 25 Days of Christmas. Eric Jones is a screenwriter, an executive producer, a lyricist, and a composer. He does the 25 songs of Christmas. It's the songs that take you back. It's the music that celebrates the joys and hopes of the holiday season. You can view the song of the day and learn more about the history and pop culture relevance of the holiday songs. So I want you to tune in to hear from Eric Jones of 25 Songs of Christmas, but Eric is here to explain it all to us. Eric, how are you this morning?
Hello there. How's everybody doing today? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you, man. How are you?
Doing good. Really, really excited. It's been a really good year. We're in our 12th season for the 25 Songs of Christmas.
12 seasons, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's great. So tell us about the 25 songs.
Well, we started in 2000 and 2010. I started on Facebook. It was just kind of like a little free gift for all my Facebook friends and family members because, I've always been a fan of holiday music. And I always thought, would it be great to actually do kind of like the behind the music of where your favorite Christmas songs came from. So I've been always researching and studying it, since I was a little kid. I was always involved in choirs and used to sing all these songs, and I always wanted to know where the songs came from. So we started in 2010. It was 2016. We started videotaping it, and then we started inviting. I had like my friends, all my theater friends throughout in the Houston community, so they were able to help me out this year. So then in 2019. We've celebrated our 10th anniversary. My sister, who's my business partner and also the co-creator of the show, she became the host, and we just clicked. We got along. Our banner as siblings has been really funny. We always get along, and we always kind of one up on each other, always make each other laugh and stuff. So that's what we do. So
let's jump into it. So tell me about the story of Silent Night. I mean, that's one of everybody's favorite sonds.
Yes, absolutely. Songs. Yes, the song was written in Austria in 1818. It was actually originally it was supposed to be a concerto that was written by Franz Gruber. And the lyricist was a monk named Joseph Moore. They actually wrote this song. Originally, it was supposed to be an elaborate piece, but at the church where the piece was going to be performed, the organ broke down. So they had to really rechange the title of the song. And Joseph was the lyricist, and Franz was the composer. Was the piano. He was the organist as well as. He also played guitar, so they used that song simply just to play the guitar, and it was a very subdued, very mellow song. And I think because of the beauty and the simplicity of the song and the lyrics, it is easily translatable into 150 languages. Everybody can translate it. Yeah, so. And I think the reason why that some singers like on Holly albums, they tend to go a little over the top. It was never meant to be over the top because it was supposed to be a very simple, subdued, worshipful song, and how it was meant to be sung. So I've heard a lot of different versions of songs. My personal favorite, I mean, everybody, especially in the urban community, they love the Temptations version, right? Obviously, because it's more like a gospel song, more of an R&B song. My personal favorite actually is Boys to Men. It was like a soulful Gregorian chant. That's how the way it was supposed to be sung. It was supposed to be very sparse. It was never intended to be over the top and elaborate.
Okay.
So, but that's how it came about. It was always been. It started off with an accident because if it wasn't for the organ, I don't think the organ breaking, we would never have that song.
That's great. That's great. I learned so. Let me get to do one more, and then I'll get Michael.
Sure.
Jingle Bells.
Jingle Bells, one of my personal favorites. The reason why I like this song is because the writer James Lord Pierpont is from my hometown. He's from Medford, Massachusetts. So he's a hometown kid. He wrote it in 1867. When he was writing the song, a lot of people automatically thought that he was inspired by snowfall and winters and riding in rides. No, actually, he wrote it in a tavern. He wrote it in a bar. It was a fun party song. That's what he wrote it as.
He was inspired by Bud Light, huh?
Bud Light, yes, he did. Yes, Bud Light or Samuel Adams, basically. Especially being from Boston. So, So he wrote that song, and actually, originally the song was actually written intentionally for Thanksgiving, not for Christmas, believe it or not.
Okay.
So it was never really meant to be a Christmas song. But for some strange reason, over the years, it's been performed and played by many different artists, and I think Arthur Fielder did an orchestrated version of it, which is very, very popular.
Mm-hmm.
And it just pretty much have stuck for the last half of the 20th century and onwards. So everybody's been and there's been a lot of different versions of it. It's a lot of different renditions of this song. So it also is one of the first. It's a few songs that kids learn how to sing. Believe it or not, that's one of the songs that learn how to sing.
All right. Well, let's. I got a couple more here, but let's get Michael and Barbara on and let them ask a couple questions, and we'll come back. Barbara, what's up? What you got for Eric?
Eric, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I want to get the history on one of my favorite songs, the Christmas song. But that was my favorite recording. Is, of course, is Nat King Cole, and
yes,
I think that one has actually won a Grammy, or inducted to the Grammy Hall of Fame. So tell us a little bit about
actually,
that.
Yes, and it did in 2014.
Okay,
sure did. I love that song. I love the story behind it because the songwriters music was written by Mel Torme, and the lyrics by Robert Wells. They wrote it in 1945. It was in the middle of a really hot summer, and they were working at the Capitol building, which is basically where that was Nat King Cole's record label, and as well as Mel Torme's record label. So they were writing this song, and they're just trying to come up with ideas. And Robert was just so bugged out because it was so dang blasted hot. And then Mel Torme said, "Just think cool thoughts." So I said, okay. So he was thinking cool thoughts. The first words that came out of his head was chestnuts roasting over an open fire, Jack Frost, and everybody knows that's the opening lines of that song.
Yes.
So it wind up becoming this song. Mel Torme tried to record it himself. It didn't go very, very well. It just didn't work for him. It just so happened that same day when he was trying to record it, the record label was saying, he said, "This is a great song. We need somebody to sing it." Nat King Cole and his trio was up there. They were just recording they were laying down some tracks for some songs. And then, Mel Torme said, "Hey, Nat, you want to try this song? Because it didn't work for me." And sure enough, said, "No, I'll give it a try." It became Nat King Cole's song automatically.
Yes.
It was no longer Mel Torme's song anymore. People keep forgetting that Mel Torme actually wrote it.
I forgot
it was
that.
Quintessentially Nat. He recorded it in 1946. Actually, believe it or not, the recording is actually celebrating its diamond anniversary, 75th anniversary. The classic Christmas album that Nat King Cole did is celebrating its 60th anniversary because it was released in 1961. It was very popular. That recording that you're hearing now is from the 61 recording. He did another version of it from 46. It was a little bit more sparse, but that lush orchestration, of course, is from Ralph Carmichael, who did the orchestrations, and Nelson Riddle Orchestra that was playing. I mean, it's like you just cannot beat that incredible sound. You just can't beat that sound, and it's actually one of my favorite songs too.
Great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And one of my other favorites, I'm going to ask this one before we go on. Eartha Kitt in Santa Baby. Tell us the history behind that one. Is there any truth to that song?
What Eartha Kitt and what?
Eartha Kitt, Santa Baby.
Okay. Santa Baby, written 1953. That song was ironically it was a breakout hit for her when she started, because before that year nobody knew who Eartha Kitt was. She was basically known as a dancer. She was a very good dancer. And some of the producers say, "Hey, listen, you want to record this song?" And she did. And she was not known for being a singer. She's really more of like an entertainer, like a dancer. And so she did that song, and it just became like her signature song. And she literally became like an overnight sensation, almost on the point of almost like American Idol, like how Kelly Clarkson started.
Right.
Nobody knew who she was. She became like this big star, and it's been. Believe it or not, people who actually record this song is actually also one of the most expensive songs to actually record, the song itself. Because if you record that song for right now, it will cost you like $100,000 to record it.
And is that because of the clearance? Is that for
the clearance? Okay. Yes, it's very expensive.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I know right now that that her daughter Kit McDonald. is still like she's like she oversees her estate and everything, and so she gets a percentage. Like literally, they literally make over like almost $300,000 a year just from that song in December.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, and I actually, believe it or not, it was a really cool story. I actually did a tribute to that song, I think in 2013, because it was the 60th anniversary of that of her song, and I got a really nice note from Kit McDonald.
Oh,
she said, thank you for doing that. So she was really
so neat.
Well, since you mentioned that, and before we go to Michael, I got a question here that says,
Sure.
Is Eric Jones going to sing a little bit?
Who, me? Nah, I just play, man. I don't sing.
that answered that question. Huh? Michael, what's up with you?
Hi, Eric. Good to have you with us again today.
Good to see you. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. I wanted to ask you about a couple songs. One of them is one that one of our listeners, Antley, asked about, is James Brown's song, Santa Claus Goes Straight to the Ghetto.
Yes.
The history on that.
Yes. He wrote that song in 1968, especially during the Black Power movement. He said that there were not a lot of Black empowerment songs, particularly for young children. And literally, when he was recording the song, actually, there was a line that he actually recorded that was improv. He actually ad-libbed where he says that, I can't believe I'm singing this song and I got tears in my eyes, because he was so moved, because he's actually writing a song, wrote and performed a song to celebrate, African-American children, that even Santa could come, to the inner city, because there were never songs about that. So yeah, I've always liked that song. It's a fun song.
Yes. Well, one of my old-time favorites, along with the Temptation version of Silent Night, we've spoken about that, but Donny Hathaway, This Christmas, is one of my favorites.
Yes, that's a good song. We did a special tribute. It was the 50th anniversary of that song. It was Nadine McKenna wrote the lyrics. Donny Hathaway, who's from Chicago, wrote the music. He also wanted to write a song that was of some positivity that celebrates the African American experience at Christmas time. And what I really love about that song is that it was the first time I've ever heard a song where a technical mistake was kept in the record and it actually sounded better. I didn't realize there was a break at the end of the song where he was supposed to sing, but he missed it. So it was like this long period of this period of music. It was like this instrumental throughout. And if you got to listen to it towards the very end.
Okay.
Because it was like at the very end, you thought the song was it was ended, and it restarted again. That was a mistake.
Wow.
That was kept in the final.
I've heard that before, and listen, I said, well, that was pretty cool to kind of do it that way, but I had no idea it was a mistake.
That was a mistake. That was a big mistake. He was like, oh. And then because he was with Motown Records, and so Motown told him, just let it go. No, Barry Gorby, like, no, do it again. He's so assembly line focused. Right. So no, you gotta do that. But he said, nah, just we'll let you have it this time.
Cool.
Let me ask you. So, and we got a couple others, but before we do, tell the audience how they can get involved, how they can tune into the 25 Songs of Christmas.
Oh, well, we're really excited this year. We actually have there's four ways you can communicate. We can see us. We're at www.joetv.net. It's local Houston channel. We're showing all of our episodes. You just got to check it out. They're showing it every 3 hours. So
say it again. www. Would you give it to them again?
Yeah, sure. It's www.joetv.net. So it's a digital channel. It's based here in Houston, but you can actually check it out. They're showing it right now. We're on all social medias. If you type in 25 Songs of Christmas, we encourage everybody to like everyone. Please love us. Please watch us, because we're always posting every day. We also have our website at 25songsofchristmas.com. Very popular, and we're also doing some really cool things this year. We actually have our souvenir digital book we're excited about. So we had some local businesses that helped invest in seed in our endeavors, and the book is really great because it gives you like some more trivia questions of this year's songs, You get a chance to know a little bit more about the artist, so you get a chance to see their background, their bios, and their pictures, and also you get a chance to get a chance to see some really good local businesses that are out there that really that help support a lot of African American community and our African American causes. So that's one. We're also open to sponsorships too. So we got a sponsorship page as well. And we also are doing we also have our podcast with Spotify, which we're really excited about that. So the episode you're seeing this year is all audio. We're doing the podcast. So I told you. So we got 4 different things we're doing. We got 4 things. We have we have the podcast. We got Joe TV. We got our website and social media. We are like everywhere. So all you got to do is click like, and also one more thing we forgot. We also have a contest. The winner gets $250 for the ones who actually shares the most, and it's going to go on probably until until the 21st of December. So you got plenty of time. So if you see us and you like it, don't like. You got to say wow, and then you got to hashtag Jingle Jolly Jam. Our theme this year is called Season of Love, but our code for everybody knows that once again the contest is called Jingle Jolly Jam. So you just type in Jingle Jolly Jam,
and you win for sharing it the most. Is that what
sharing the most? Yes. We have analytics.
Well,
we can determine who's in.
Barbara's gonna get that hands down.
I'm gonna win.
Go for it. Go for it. So all you gotta do is if you go on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, but mostly just Facebook. Just if you see our 25 songs of Christmas, boom, like us, and just say Jingle Jolly Jam, and you're in.
Well, Barbara, I want you to know that Antley says that he's gonna go ahead and send him the money because he's gonna outshare you. So,
all right, go for it. We
he has competition.
We need the exposure. That's all I gotta say. We need the exposure. So
let's do a couple more songs for
sure.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, written in 1949. It was written by Johnny Marks. He's the same man who wrote "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree" and "Run Rudolph Run," who co-wrote it with Marty Brody and Chuck Berry. But the significant story about this was Gene Autry was the one who originated the song. He absolutely hated the song. He hated the song. He hated the words. He hated the music. He thought it was going to be the worst thing for his career because he was a singing cowboy, and he thought, "This is it. I'm done. It's over. This is going to ruin." But his wife kind of encouraged him, and she said, "Why don't you just give it a try? Because it's probably going to be on the B side, and nobody's going to pay attention to it anyway." Much to his chagrin, it became one of his biggest hits. It made him extremely successful, and now Gene Autry is more associated with Christmas music than he is with his cowboy music. So I always say that the moral of the story is husbands, listen to your wives because they'll make you successful.
Smart.
I got one more. You say "Oh Holy Night" created a Christmas truce.
Yes, it did.
Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. Well, if you know, "Oh Holy Night" is next to "Silent Night" is actually the second most widely covered song in recorded history. It was written in 1843. It was written by Adam Alphonse and Placide Cappeau in 1843. This song was actually the most very popular song in France at the time in the 19th century. But internationally, a lot of people didn't know anything about the song. So in 1914, of course, that was the height of the start of the World War I. So obviously, most of the English, the French, Germans, the Austrian, they were in no man's land, which is in France. So there was some heavy battles going on. So on Christmas Eve on that night, something strange but yet wonderfully miraculous happened. One French soldier was out in the trench. He walked over the trenches, and instead of carrying his gun, he basically started to sing. And the song that he sang was "Oh Holy Night." And for some strange reason, the soldiers on the Germans and the Austrians and the Hungarians, they just stopped. They didn't do anything. They didn't stop. They didn't just listen to this man sing. So then a German soldier came up and sang the German song "Silent Night." Now, many of the French have never heard "Silent Night" up to that point. because it was mostly a German, Austrian kind of song. It's like a local song. So they were moved by that. So the English had their own song. They had Ding Dong Merrily on the High. It was a British song. So they all started exchanging, music, and they started playing football, and they just, they pretty much stopped fighting for that one night. So, it was really a very joyous and a very miraculous situation that never really ever happens, even during wartime. So it was known as the Christmas Truce, and it lasted literally up until December the 26th, I think it was, like Boxing Day. So after the end of Boxing Day, the men went back to their trenches and they went back and they fought. And for that one split moment, they were literally brothers. They were united because they were united by the power of music.
That's amazing. So Eric, I got to ask you this: how did you learn all this stuff?
Oh, a lot of listening to music, a lot of reading. My family had a huge record collection, so I always read the liner notes. Okay. Most people don't like to read liner notes anymore. You remember you used to have liner notes and LPs?
Yeah.
So you get a chance to read a little bit more about the history of the songs, and I was like, oh, that's fantastic. It's like, why didn't anybody learn about this? So
you're absolutely right, because I still got a couple of hundred albums or so.
Yeah.
And every now and then, you pick it up and you read the stuff and you go, oh wow, I didn't know that happened. I didn't know that. And so it's cool because you can stream something but not get the backstory, not get to learn about it or what have you. So let's see, Barbara, Michael, you got another question?
I do. Can you tell us a little bit about one of my favorites? It's The Most Wonderful Time of the Year.
Oh, okay. That was a well-known song written in 1963. It was John Elson wrote that song with his partner Bob Reichel, and it was a song specifically written for Andy Williams, specifically for him. Okay. He sung it. Andy Williams had his own TV show back in the early 60s. He was a man who also introduced around that same time the Osmonds. Because the Osmonds were just like they were barbershop quartet, and they made them stars. So that song was very, very popular for Andy Williams. Matter of fact, it made him so popular to the point that he was dubbed Mr. Christmas because of it. So matter of fact, he has his he had a very well-known theater in Branson, Missouri called the Moon River Theater, because he's also well known for doing the Henry Mancini song of Moon River. And but every Christmas, every year, that's the song they have the Most Wonderful Time of the Year parade in Branson. They used to have it every year.
Wow, interesting.
So because of that song, so it's one of my favorites too. I used to use it a lot in my old days when I was a drama director. We used to have like Christmas pageants, and we always open up with that song. It's always fun.
Okay,
Michael,
Eric,
what is your favorite Christmas song of all time?
My favorite Christmas song of all time? Man, that's like asking me what's my favorite child. I don't know.
Well, you can give us more than one. How about you can give us more than one?
I could probably. There's a couple. There's a few. I think one, of course, the Christmas song from Nat King Cole. That's always been, to me, when I listen to it, I feel like that's Christmas to me.
Yes.
What I would say, a traditional old-fashioned Christmas song. I've always been a fan of this Spanish carol called Rio de Chia. It was written in the 16th century, and the first time I actually heard it, believe it or not, I actually heard it on an old episode of the TV show The Monkees. You remember The Monkees?
Yes.
And these psychedelic rockers, it's like, I just couldn't believe it. It was like, I've never heard this song before, but these guys were singing a song a cappella like a Gregorian chant, and it was like, that was the coolest thing I've ever heard. So Rio Chiu, I thought just the oldest traditional things. Contemporary, probably the most recent. I would probably say, and I know it's kind of cliche-ish, but I'm just gonna go for Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You." I mean, it's just fun. It's just fun, and that's a cool story behind that too, because when she wrote this song with Walter Ashriff in 1994, she recorded it in the middle of summer in June, and she wanted to make the entire studio decked out in Christmas. It was so unorthodox. She had these certain demands she wanted, and she recorded that song. Everything was decorated. They had trees. Everything was just decorated for Christmas. And it was in the middle of in a hot summer, and she was recording it, and she wanted to follow this style of the of Phil Spector's Wallace sound style. So we try to recreate that sound. And now currently it is I just found out recently that the Billboard Awards have just this song is now officially diamond. It's a diamond song. It is probably the most digitally downloaded song in recorded history. 10 million hits.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yes, Mariah Carey will never have to work another day in her life again. All she has to do is sing "All I Want for Christmas Is You," and she's done.
Yes.
Wow.
Amazing.
Eric, I tell you, you are amazing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate
So much. And I want to certainly, before we go, I want to make sure that you come back again next year and help us. And so, but I got our producer Emily Hedrick has a request. She says she likes rocking around the Christmas tree.
Sure.
Can you give us some backstory on that one?
Yes, as I mentioned before, "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree" was written in 1958. It was written by Johnny Marks, same man who wrote Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This man has his own music publishing company called the Johnny Marks Christmas Music. He writes his own music. And Brenda Lee at the time was only 14 years old when she did that song. She was 14.
Wow.
And it became a big hit for her. They wanted to do a rock and roll song. They never done a Christmas rock and roll song before, and she was the first person to record it. And it became a #1 hit for Brenda Lee. It's been a standard. I mean, she had a long career over the years, but every time the first thing they think of Brenda Lee, they think of "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree." Yeah. So that's her song.
Okay. Anybody else?
I just want to say thank you so much, Eric. You're just a walking wealth of knowledge, and
I appreciate that. Thank you.
When it comes to Christmas music. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Yes, Eric, thank you. But can you tell me anything about this song? It goes Feliz Navidad. Is that?
Oh, Feliz Navidad? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's from Jose Feliciano. He wrote it in 1970. Some people believe that this song was kind of like a comeback for him because let me give you a background real quickly. In 1969, he was selected to sing the national anthem when the Mets were playing the World Series, when they won the Miracle Mets. And his style was very salsa. He was like one of the early days of fathers of salsa. They have never heard anybody sing it like that. And they thought, oh my gosh, they destroyed the national anthem. How dare it? It was like this outrageous kind of thing. But, years later, people came to find out that it was one of his greatest performances, but people just weren't ready for it yet. So he wanted to write a song that celebrated, Latinx pride, something that was unique, that was like that anyone can understand the language if they can sing it in a bilingually. So he wrote this song about 51 years ago called Feliz Navidad, and it's a song that even kids can learn to sing in more than one language. So it's been very popular. I've always liked it. I like that song too. I like that.
Okay.
Okay, man, that is just awesome. Eric, before we go, tell them once again where they can go and find the 25 songs. Just so
yes, you can find us 25 songs in all of our social media outlets, as well as our website at www.25songsofchristmas.com.
Okay, sounds great. Eric, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you, and we look forward to have a great Christmas. And I'll look forward to touching base with you during the year.
Absolutely. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Michael. And thank you, Thom. And thank you, Emily. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay, that was just wonderful. Eric's just a wealth of knowledge, and if you're into Christmas music, then he's your guy. Ever since I was a child, the holiday season has probably been my favorite time of the year. This time of the year it's like we take a little time out, and we have to do what we have to do. We have to go to work. We have to avoid the COVID. We have to meet our obligations and so on and so forth. But Christmas puts a smile on our collective faces. People are nicer. When you see the bell ringers in front of the supermarkets, there's something that tugs at your heart that says, okay, maybe you can do something to help others. So we want to thank Eric for sharing the 25 songs of Christmas with us. and maybe he should work on his favorite 25 Christmas movies. I don't know if I could name 25 Christmas movies, but I'll tell you my top 4. Number 1, It's a Wonderful Life. Number 2, It Happened on Fifth Avenue. Number 3, A Christmas Story. And number 4, this is a new one. It's called The Christmas Present. Actually, The Christmas Present is not yet produced, but hopefully we'll be able to share it with you on next year. And so that's how I see it on this day, December 7th, 2021. That's going to be our show for today. I want to thank the audience for being with us. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of your comments. I want to thank Michael and thank Barbara. Thank our G-list guest, Eric Jones. I want to look forward to our upcoming G-list guest, Kelly Thompson, and then we'll have Santa Claus himself. Thank our sponsors, Best Girl Inc. and Mainstream Financial. Thank Emily Hedrick, the communicator. Our producer, thank Sean Jones, the organizer. Remember to go out there today and enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Stay safe. Peace.